Welcome back to my channel, Sunny Art Academy. Today we are going to be painting super simple watercolor flowers. Now they don't necessarily represent a certain species of flower. We're basically going to be practicing how to create these gradient strokes and stuff. And so it's super easy to do, and it does take practice. I do have another one that's a little different. We are going to add two different types of flowers and the stems that go with it. Okay guys, don't forget to subscribe. The brush that I'm using is a size 8. It has a tip because you need this is a round brush. You need a brush that has a good tip on it, because the first thing we're going to do is create little dots. So I am going in, I am using, this is Prang. It's very inexpensive. It's great for beginners. I got the double pack. The double pack has just the regular colors, and then it has the tertiary colors, which we're not going to get into color theory and all that stuff, but it has lots of different colors, which is awesome. So I'm going to go in to this is a red orange. And okay, I'm going to have a spot here. Let me clean this up. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm doing red orange. I'm using red orange, and then there is another red in here that's not the bright red. It's a darker red. I'm also going to use that. The first thing you're going to do is you think about where basically you want to place your flowers. Like maybe I want one flower like right here, and then you want 3 flowers or 5 flowers. It's really good to have an odd number. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go in and put in 3 dots. Lots of color. 3 little dots. And then you're going to go in and rinse your brush really, really, really good. Now, many people have 2 different types of water. You may have one that's like the dirty water, and then one that's perfectly clean. I every time in between every painting, I change my water out. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can get 2 different things of water that when you have a lot of paint on it, you rinse it with the dirty water, and then you go into the clean water, so then you have clean water to work with. And this is what we're doing is we're going to take our brush and put it on the side, and you are going to just scooch it around like that. And as you can see, it's clean water. There's more clean water on this side than on this side because I touched the paint, and the paint is rushing in to this petal that I've just created. This petal I created. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in, clean my brush again. I like to turn my page because I'm right-handed. Now, you don't want it to be drippy. Like right now, it's about to drip. You want it to be loaded with water, but not so much that it drips all over the place. And it takes a little bit of practice, but it's really easy to do this. See, I'm taking it and I'm just pulling out the water, and I touched that area. I'm cleaning my brush again. I'm going to touch the color and pull it out to create this petal. So now what I want to do is I'm going to dry my brush off a little bit so I can go back in and pick up paint. I'm picking up this, it's a red orange, it's not a pure red. And I'm going to create another dot right there. I'm going to create one, I guess. I don't know, I got these really close to each other. I guess I'll do it right here. Okay, 2 more dots. And then we're going to rinse our brush really good with fresh water, clean water. And then I'm going to create another petal coming out here, like that. And most flowers have 5 petals, so that's where we're going to come in here and pull out another petal. And these two got really close to each other. I'm going to have to pull this one over. This petal will be a little bit bigger, and so will this one. I'm going to make sure that these are nice and full. Yeah. Okay. So I'm touching the color. There's lots of water. The water is rushing into the petal. And we have at least 5 petals. Now it looks like I don't have enough color, so I'm going to go back in and grab more of my orange, more of my color, and dot it in the center and allow that water to, the paint to rush into our flower. Now something else is in the center of many flowers, you have, it's much darker than that. So I'm going to go in and we'll have a brown. And in order to make the brown a little darker, I'm going to add some purple to it. I'm going to go in and get the dark purple here and add that to the brown just to make the brown, the sepia or the brown a little bit darker. And I'm going to go in and add this dark to the center of our flower. Because many times the center of a flower is super dark. Just like that. Okay. So, okay, let's do this again. We're going to do 3 flowers. How about we do a flower that, another one just like this. Down here. I think these need to be a little longer. Look, I'll make them a little longer. These are almost too, put some streaks in that. I know, kind of, okay, that looks better. Okay, what we did is we went in here and I need to put some dark in it. Okay, now we're cleaning our brush again. Clean your brush really, really good, and you're going to go in and just barely touch that color and pull out a leaf. I'm going to turn my page. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I saw a lot of water on my brush, so pull it out to create that. I'm going to clean my brush again. Dab it on the paper. I'm going to dab it on my paper towel so it's not drippy, and then pull out another petal here, grabbing that color. And I think with this one, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow just to give a little variety to the oranges and the colors within this petal in this. I just think it needs a little bit because this is kind of flat over here. Okay, so now we're going to add 2 more petals. We're going to go in and get a bunch of paint, picking up a whole bunch of paint, and we're going to add another dot here. And I guess a dot here. I don't know, it's almost as if I need another one there too. Okay, rinse your brush, dab it a tad on the paper, on the paper towel. You're going to dab a little bit on the paper towel just so it's not going to drip all over when you bring it over onto your painting. And then as long as there's lots of water on your brush, you're going to go in and create another. There you go. Now we have this little, it's almost as if this needs to come over just a tad. I'm going to fill that in. This needs to come out. It's not long enough. I think this does too. I need clean water. I went back in, got some clean water. I'm going to even have these guys touch. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in again, and it's really light right there, so I'm going to go in and add more color. And I'm adding the orange right now. Add a little more color, and then I'm going to go in and add that dark. It's a combination of the dark purple and the brown for the center. Oop, something on there. To the very center of your flower. Pretty. All right, so now we've done 2 like that. I want to do another flower. Let's see. Since we have yellow, maybe I'll add a yellow one. How about that? We'll go in here. Let's see. All right, I got straight yellow, 3 dots, clean my brush. I'm going to kind of overlap. I think that's kind of pretty and different. So then we need to get yellow again, and we need to do 2 more dots. Maybe dot more color. I think we need to add some orange to it because it doesn't seem, it needs something, right? It's too white. It needs some contrast. So, and it's okay to kind of paint right into the other one, the other kind of overlap. That's kind of a fun, pretty little thing to do. So we're going to go in with orange. I'm going to pick up some orange. And add it to the center of our flower. going to add a little bit of water to make it move into the flower. Okay, then I'm going to go back with the same center, which is the purple and the brown combined, and I'm going to add a little bit of dark to the center of our flower. And I've got a lot of water on here. I didn't tape it down, so it's kind of, the paper is sort of buckling a little, but the good part about that is it is also making the color move into the flower, which is basically what we want to do, right? So, all right, so the next step is to add some stems. I am going to use my liner brush. I may use this round brush to create the right color that I want my stems to be. So I'm going to go in and I'm picking up several greens. I'm going to mix them. I don't want it to be bright green. I think these are very delicate, very pretty, so I don't think I want bright green. I'm looking at like a blue-green, but I don't know that blue-green would even match with it either. So I'm now looking at adding yellow to my green and making, maybe we'll make the limbs or the stems of our flowers sort of a yellow-green. So we're going to make some little yellow-green. I'm adding yellow to the green that I already had here. So it's kind of a, I don't know, is that a chartreuse? What is that color? Yellow-green. All right, so I'm not going to use my round brush because it's just too fat, not delicate enough. I'm going to use my liner brush. You don't have to use a liner brush. You can use another brush like a flat brush. Sometimes if you have a really skinny, fresh, flat brush, you could make long stems with your flat brush. And you know, I haven't done that yet. Maybe, okay, so we'll do one stem with a flat brush, and then we'll do a stem with the liner brush, just to show you the difference of the two. The flat brush that I'm using, it doesn't have to be tapered. This one just happens to be tapered because it's brand new. It doesn't have to be tapered. It can just be a flat brush. So basically, instead of using the flat brush this way, we're going to use the flat brush this way. I don't know how to explain that. We're going to use the flat brush to create lines. If you watched any of my videos on how to use brushes, then you would know that that a flat brush is a great brush to create long, skinny lines. So there you go. Use this flat brush to create these long, skinny, vine-looking, long, skinny lines. Let's see. How do I want to do this one? I need to have another one. There. Long, skinny looking. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is create some leaves. We don't want to create a lot of leaves because these flowers probably don't have a lot on them. I'm taking this flat brush and I'm just barely kind of pushing down on it to create these little leaves. And I'm going to create a few another stem to create these little leaves. You want it to be fairly delicate, right? Okay, so the thing about these leaves is they don't have any depth to them. They're all exactly the same color, So I'm going to go back in and try, I'm going to get in a darker leaf by adding blue to my green, and I'm going to go in and add just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of variety to maybe the bottom of the leaves. At this time, I didn't realize I was off the camera until I did some editing. So this is actually what the painting ended up looking like. So maybe some of the leaves are darker than others. I'm just tapping just a little bit on, just to give it a little bit of variety. All right. And there you go. There's our cute little painting. So at this point, you can stop. If you want it to be minimalistic and you want to stop, this is a good stopping point. And this was too much right there, so I dabbed it a little. That was a little too much. So now it took away some of my yellow because I dabbed it. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow up here, just because I didn't like that. That just didn't work for me. And now let's kind of do that, kind of clean it up a little. And there are our pretty little flowers. So I need yellow to put in here, just to kind of, needed some help up here, a little bit of help. It needed to be a little fuller, a little bit of there. I just needed a little more color up there, I thought. Okay. So, like I said, at this point, you can stop painting. And this is absolutely gorgeous. It worked out perfect. Another thing you can do if you want to add something to it is you could add some like little flecks of color if you think it's not colorful enough. Now remember, if you stop here, it's totally cool. If you want to put flecks of color on it and you go, oh my gosh, I don't like the painting anymore, paint it again. It's not going to hurt you to paint it again. In fact, it would be fun to paint it again, right? Let's paint it again. And maybe here too, because you need contrast in your flowers and in the limbs, in the flowers and in the stems. You need to make sure you have a little bit of contrast. So what I'm going to do is go in, what color do I want? Like this right here. I'm just going to take this and like splatter just a tiny bit of maybe just a drip. I don't have any drips on there. I don't have water on there. There you go. And like I said before, if you feel like you did too many drips, you can always go back with a paper towel and just dab up a little if you think it's too much. You know, and sometimes you do too much. You know, sometimes you can overdo a painting. If you just keep going and going and going, you go, now I have a mess. Well, that's okay. I mean, how long did it take us to paint this? Maybe 20, 30 minutes? Then you can start over and do another one. Maybe you don't like the colors. Do a different color scheme. In fact, let's do that. Let's do a different color scheme and see you in the next video.